And welcome back here to Hartfield as getting ready for first pitch, the CSU Roadrunners and the UT Rio Grande Valley Vaqueros. Corey Costello here with you on a Sunday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. Final game of the three-game series, and one win, one loss apiece for each of these teams coming into this Sunday game. And so both of them desperately trying to win their first WAC series of the season. The Runners were swept last weekend at Grand Canyon, and UTRGV was swept at home by Utah Valley. So the Runners trying to get into that win column in terms of winning 2 out of 3 in a series. Here is today's lineup. First for the visiting Vaqueros, Conrad McMahon will lead off and play center field. Chris Castillo will be in right batting second. Austin Senior, the second baseman, bats third. Jose Garcia, the left fielder, bats cleanup. Joseph Collazo, the DH, batting fifth. Victor Garcia Jr., the first baseman, batting sixth. Tyler Torres, the third baseman, batting seventh. Austin Oakes will return behind the plate and bat eighth. And Ivan Estrella will play shortstop and bat ninth as Malik Jones will get the start. 1-3 on the year. ERA sits at 6.14. 22 innings pitched, 13 walks, 18 strikeouts. Has a .327 average against. Jones throws hard. He has the propensity once in a while to find a bat if he leaves a pitch over the heart of the plate. So Jeremy Beard hoping that is not the case. And he continues to work with these pitchers. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, there are some guys that are coming back from injury, Aaron Charles being one of them. And as Beard pointed out in that pregame interview, he was a guy that they were expecting to be a starting rotation guy until he got hurt in the fall as he was running. But he has improved very well. He's gotten stronger. He's throwing harder. He hit 93 last night on the gun, so pretty excited about his future. And so looking forward to seeing what he might be able to do. And now looking forward to see what Malik Jones can do for the Roadrunners here this evening as we get underway. And Conrad McMahon will dig in from the right side, hitting .311, and McMahon, very solid last night. It was 3 for 3 in his first 3 at-bats for the Vaqueros, and ended up being 3 for 5 on the night with an RBI and 2 runs scored. First pitch from Jones is going to be outside for ball one, as first pitch time right at 12 noon on a warm Sunday afternoon, as here's the 1-0, and that will be in there for a strike. Weather at first pitch time today, 78 degrees. Expected to be around 84 here today at Hartfield, but a nice clear afternoon for baseball as here's the 1-1 pitch on the way from Jones. Ground ball up the middle, going to be a base hit just to the left of Ryan Grosjean at short. So a leadoff single as McMahon stays hot in this series for the Vaqueros. Been tough to get him out. He has not been an easy guy to keep off the base paths in this series. McMahon, once again, just as UTRGV has in this entire series, starting good in the first inning, and now the left-hander Chris Castillo was just as good last night coming to play. Castillo was 3 for 3 in his first 3 at-bats, and then a walk as well. So on the night before he was lifted in the 7th, he went 3 for 3 with a walk, 2 runs scored, make that 3 runs scored, and 3 RBIs. As here's the first pitch to Castillo, and that'll catch the inside corner. Oh, not going to catch the inside corner. Going to call it up and in for a ball. And the count 1-0. Umpires today here at Hartfield. Eric Peterson behind home plate. Anthony Norris down the first base line. And Steve Hilgendorf, the third base umpire today. 1-0 the count, and the pitch to Castillo, and that's going to sail high as well. And the count 2 balls and no strikes. 87 miles an hour from Malik Jones on that one. And again, throws hard, sometimes keeps out of the middle, though, and will get hit a bit, but trying to make him just make contact and let the defense do the rest. Here's the next pitch to Castillo. That's not going to miss by much as well, and that'll be ball 3, but Jones has had 2 of them very close to the corner. So the count 3 balls and no strikes now to Chris Castillo. Again, all over the bases yesterday. And here's the 3-1 to Castillo, and that changeup is in there for a strike. And so the count 3-1. So 3 balls and a strike to Castillo with 1 on and nobody out here in the UTRGV first. Here's the 3-1. Runner in motion, and then he'll stop, and that'll be on the corner for a called strike 2. So the count now 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to the left-hander and a runner on first base. And here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3 as he comes back with a slider there and gets him to chase. So a nice job by Jones battling back for out number 1. That'll bring up the right-hander Austin Senior. Senior, another guy on the bases a lot last night. He, in weird ways, though, was hit by a pitch in the first, did strike out in the second, reached on an error in the fourth, and then did triple and scored a run in the sixth inning. As here's the first pitch on the way to Senior. And that'll catch the corner for a called strike. Interesting game last night, too, because then at that point, the Manny Manchano, the head coach of the Vaqueros, lifted a lot of his players, thinking they were up by 10. It was probably going to be a mercy rule game, and guys that have been on base quite a bit, and then the runners mounted that comeback. Next pitch is swung on, a runner took off, but it's going to be touched foul up the first baseline. And so back to first base goes McMahon. But he had a lot of his top guys, Castillo, Senior, Garcia, some of those guys that had been playing playing and hitting well were out of the lineup as the runners made the comeback, and then he was doing a lot of it with some guys that he really was just trying to get a little bit of playing time, ended up being the guys that close out the ball game and having to hold off that late Roadrunner charge. So 0-2 the count here to Senior, hitting .248 coming in today's ball game, and the pitch down to the dirt blocked by Ortega, and the runners stay put. Defensively for Bakersfield, Jake Ortega behind the plate this afternoon. Max Carter at first base. Austin Tengen gets a start at second. Ryan Grosjean's at shortstop. David Metzger at third base once again. Third game in a row for him. In the outfield, it'll be Andrew Penner, Mark Pena, and Christian Deaton left to right. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner on first, 1 away here in the UT-RGV first inning. And time is called at the plate by Senior. Yesterday's game, a very long affair due to the amount of pitching changes, walks, hits in that game. Official time went 3:41 last night. The 1-2, ground ball towards short. Grosjean is there. He'll touch the second base bag for 1. Over to first for 2. And the runners get out of the inning, and Malik Jones does his job, gets the defense to help him out. For the Vaqueros, no runs, 1 hit, nobody left at the end of 1/2 inning. We are scoreless. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 91 FM ESPN, and the Roadrunner Sports Network. Welcome back to Hartfield as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Roadrunners up to bat for the first time today. Here's their lineup. Mark Pena will lead off in center field. Andrew Penner, the left fielder, batting second. David Metzger at third base, bats third. Max Carter, a cleanup hitter, playing first base today. Ryan Grosjean bats fifth. Malik Jones, a pitcher, batting sixth. Jake Ortega, the catcher, batting seventh. Christian Deaton in right field bats eighth. And Austin Tengen, the second baseman, batting ninth for the Roadrunners. And they're facing Andrew Garcia, 2-1 on the season, 3.13 the ERA, 46 innings pitched, 11 walks, 37 strikeouts, and he has a .267 average against. So Roadrunners coming to bat for the first time here this afternoon. And if I'm not mistaken, first time they haven't given up any runs in the first inning against the Vaqueros in this series. Nice job by Malik Jones. Got the ground ball out. Ryan Grosjean going 6U3 on that double play. And now Mark Pena will lead things off for the Roadrunners. Pena hitting from the right side. Pena last night 1 for 3, 3 runs scored. He walked twice and tripled in last night's ball game. And what an affair that was. 13-12 being the final when it was 1.13-3 and the Roadrunners were facing their first mercy rule loss ever. First pitch on the way to Pena is in there for a called strike. Garcia having a pretty good season for the Vaqueros. And he's got decent stuff as well. As here's the 0-1 to Pena. And that breaking ball misses inside. Goes about 87 to 89 on his fastball. We'll throw a slider sort of curveball slurve, as you like to call it, at about 73, and then 73 to 77 on his changeup. The 1-1, and that's going to be fouled straight back and out of play. But very good strike thrower, heavy off speed after the first time through the order, and likes to work in. And with runners in scoring position, he has no problem throwing his off-speed stuff. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to the right-hander, and the next pitch. High for a ball, and the count evening up at 2-2. Pena on base a lot this season for the Roadrunners. His on-base percentage sits at .431, one of the higher marks on the team. As here's the 2-2. Jams him, taps it towards the front of the plate. The catcher comes out to make the play, and the throw, and Pena is retired off the Oaks to Garcia Jr. putout. And there is one away. Definitely got jammed up on the inside stuff we were talking about, and ends up grounding back in front of the plate and handled by the catcher, Oaks. So that will bring up the right-hander, Andrew Penner, playing in left field once again today for the Roadrunners, and the first pitch on the way to Penner is on the inside corner for a called strike. Penner last night, 3 for 6, an RBI and a run scored for the Roadrunners. As here's the 0-1 delivery now to Penner, and that'll miss down and away for a ball. Penner again last night busy on the bases for CSUB. Ended up having 3 hits in a row from the 5th, 7th, and 8th innings. All singles, and he scored a run and brought in a run in that process. This ball lifted into shallow center field. It'll drop down for a base hit just past the second base bag and into the grass. And Penner stays hot with another single to his credit. And that'll bring up David Metzger with a 1 away here in the Bakersfield first. So Penner picks up another single, and now Metzger will be at the plate for the Roadrunners. Metzger in that 9th inning last night ended up laying down the 8th inning last night. Ended up laying down a sacrifice to put a tying runner in scoring position, but they couldn't quite get him around, and then ended up ending the game on a fly out to right field. As here's the first pitch on the way to Metzger, and that's a fastball in there for a strike. I was talking to Jeremy Beard before the game, and he said and he's made it, really no apologies for the fact he doesn't like the sacrifice bunt. Doesn't like taking another runner off there and giving up an out. And he said, so last night it was really hard, and we talked about it on the broadcast saying, well, I know he doesn't like the bunt, but this is a good time to do so. And Metzger did. And they put the tying run in scoring position at the time, as here's the 0-1. And that one slapped left side, base hit through the 6th hole. So back-to-back singles. But he said David Metzger was one who actually changed his mind and allowed him to bunt in that 8th inning. He said, Coach, I got the drag bunt. and he said, all right, let's not sacrifice it. We'll just you'll drag it, and maybe you can beat it out. And he almost did. A good play was made by the third baseman, or the second baseman at the time, covering the bag. That's the one that he stretched and kind of fell down, but he kept his feet on the bag. They kind of fell over the top of the bag and ended up holding on for the out. But he said Metzger actually encouraged him. He said, no, Coach, I can lay the bunt down. And they did, and just unfortunately couldn't get that tying run around in the 8th, and the same thing happened in the 9th. So that'll bring up Max Carter hitting .354 down and away for a ball. Carter hitting .340 with runners on base this year. And with runners in scoring, .351. He's got 17 RBIs and the lone home run for this Roadrunner team, who doesn't hit a lot of them. So 1 ball and no strikes to Carter. And here is the 1-0 delivery. Runners are going. Carter taps one to the first base side. It's going to be taken by the second baseman. The flip over to first for the out, but Carter advances everybody with that ground ball as they both took off on the prior to contact, kind of a hit and run there. And so Penner advances the third base, Metzger to second, but now can the Roadrunners bring him in here? 2 outs, bringing up Ryan Grotjohn. So good contact out by Max Carter to push everybody up. And now Ryan Grotjohn will come to the plate with 2 away. Chance to put the runners on top here early on the first time in this series, as he's hitting .548 with 2 outs this year. Roadrunners, good 2-out RBI team. They got 56 on the season. First pitch to Grotjohn, misses down and in for a ball. Grotjohn from the left side against right-handers is hitting .463 this season. He's hitting .440 overall coming into today's ball game. So 1 ball and no strikes to Grotjohn. Penner at third, Metzger at second base, 2 gone here in the Bakersfield first. Trying to draw first blood for the first time in this series. The stretch for Garcia, and here's the 1-0 to Grotjohn. Foul back to the screen, and the count evens up at 1-1. Inning started with the ground out by Pena, and then Penner and Metzger go back-to-back singles, and then Carter on the hit and run, grounding it to the right side, and everybody moving up a spot. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Ryan Grotjohn. Grotjohn in the game yesterday was 0 for 3 with a run scored. And time is called. Not many of those on Grotjohn's resume this season, those hitless ball games, although he was on base and did score a run. He's had some great weekends and decent here against the Vaqueros. A lot of pop-outs yesterday. Popped out to the center field 3 times. Here's the 1-1 to Grotjohn. Chopper towards shortstop, going to be backhanded by Estrella. He's going to throw just in time to get Grotjohn at first, and that'll do it for the Roadrunners. No runs on 2 hits. They leave 2 at the end of 1. We are scoreless. Back after this. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 981 FM ESPN, and the Roadrunner Sports Network. And welcome back to Hartfield as we head to the top of the second inning. Scoreless between CSUB and UT Rio Grande Valley. Due up for the Vaqueros, and it'll be in 4-5-6. Jose Garcia, Joseph Collazo, and Victor Garcia Jr. For the Vaqueros in the second. Roadrunners threatened in the first. They got 2 on back-to-back singles, but they couldn't push them across, which hasn't happened that much this season with 2 outs. Runners pretty good 2-out hitting ball club. So Garcia will lead things off, hitting .362 for UTRGV. Garcia last night 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout. First pitch swung on, popped up foul, right side, and out of play. Roadrunners go on the road to UC Irvine on Tuesday and then Chicago State next weekend. A lot of road games in April. They'll be back at the end of the month, and then they're pretty heavy at home, though, in May. Here's the 0-1 on the way. Breaking ball going to miss high, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. So CSUB will try to take advantage of whatever home games they can get. As here's the 1-0 pitch. 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 2, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. For the Roadrunners, their upcoming Irvine on April 4th. Then they'll be at Chicago State on April 8th, 9th, and 10th, and then back home for the following weekend here at Hartfield. As here is the 1-2 pitch. That's in the dirt, blocked by Ortega. What will happen in April is gone next week for 4, and then home for 5. They'll get Cal State Northridge on Tuesday, April the 11th. And then home series with Utah Valley, April 13th, 14th, and 15th, 6, 6, and 12. As here's the 2-2 pitch. Foul back to the screen, and we'll do it again at 2-2. Then they'll get Cal Poly on Tuesday, April 18th. So a 5-game homestand from the 11th to the 18th. And then they're going to be on the road. They've got that weird with North Dakota discontinuing their baseball program. They're an affiliate member in the WAC for baseball. That left the conference with an even number of teams, which means you have an odd number of series in conference plays. Here's the 2-2. Popped into right center field. Pena coming over from center. He will get there and make the grab, and there's one away. So what that means is everybody sort of has an off-conference weekend. Right now, Chicago State is doing that. They played Eastern Michigan on Friday. They played Butler yesterday. I'm not sure who they got today, but playing kind of most people try to find a series. With other conferences, it might have an odd number of teams. So the Roadrunners happen to find Arizona State, and they'll be at Arizona State 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of April. And then they go on the road again, as here's the first pitch on the way to Joseph Collazo, and the breaking ball's in there for a strike. So from April 21st to April 30th, it will be a 7-game road swing for the Roadrunners. 3 at Arizona State, 1 on the 25th at UC Santa Barbara, and then 3 more at Sacramento State. The 0-1, missing down and away with a fastball on the count 1-1. But then May plays into their hands nicely. They'll open with Irvine on May 2nd. They got a 4-game series against Northern Colorado, 1 midweeker at Cal State Northridge, and then 4 more at home after that, as the next pitch is tapped up the first baseline. Charging is Carter. He's going to take it, makes the tag, and no, they're going to say he didn't make the tag, and he missed the diving Collazo. And Jeremy Beard coming out, and the first base umpire made the call safe, and now he's going to get help from the home plate umpire and the third base umpire. Tough to tell from our angle. I think the home plate umpire might have had a better view of it, as they're going to chat it over real quick. And Jeremy Beard actually got some help last night on a hit batter, and they're going to rule him safe. So Carter did not make the tag. So it'll be an infield hit for Collazo. Tough play there. It jammed him up pretty bad, and then Carter ended up getting it about a quarter of the way down the line from first base on the grass, and Collazo sort of jumped out of the way and avoided the tag. And there was no chance that Jones could get there from first, and no shot for Tengen all the way from second on a play like that. So that will put a runner on first, and Victor Garcia Jr. will come to the plate. Hitting from the left side against a right-hander, Malik Jones. First pitch is in there for a called strike. So 0-1 here to the Vaqueros first baseman. 1 aboard and 1 out here for the Vaqueros, as Jones works out of the stretch, and here's the 0-1 delivery. And that one's hit hard, backhanded by Carter. He'll go to second for 1, back over to first for 2. This time he'll make the tag out of the inning. What a play by Max Carter. He backhanded stab, a hot shot on the corner. He goes to second for 1, and then Grosjean the relay back to Carter on the bag for 2, as it's a 3-6-3 double play to end the inning. At the end of 1.5, we are scoreless. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 91 FM ESPN, and the Roadrunner Sports Network. Back at Hartfield as we head to the bottom of the second inning, scoreless. CSUB and UTRGV due up for the Roadrunners on a nice 3-6-3 double play to end that inning for Bakersfield, as Malik Jones, a pitcher, will lead things off for the Roadrunners. Jones hitting .355 this season, and the first pitch on the way to Jones, and it misses down and away for ball one. So Jones has got 2 double plays to end his first 2 innings of work. That's exactly what Jeremy Beard is looking for out of his pitching staff. He wants his guys to be willing to use the defense. As here's the 1-0 to Jones, and he chops out one foul at the third baseline. And he did just that in the last couple innings, 2 double plays, and a very great, spectacular play by Max Carter, backhanding the hard hit ball and then going to second for 1, and then back over to first, covering his bag for the out. Next pitch, a breaking ball, that slurve in there for a strike from Garcia. Jones on the season as a leadoff hitter for leading off an inning, hitting .389 for the Roadrunners. Here's the 1-2. Chopper towards first base, high chop. Garcia Jr. lets it go to second base to Senior, and then he throws it behind the pitcher, covering the bag, and the ball nearly goes into the Roadrunner dugout off the glove of the catcher, Oakes, who was backing up the play. And that's going to keep Jones at first base, but it will be a hit for the Roadrunners. Infield hit for Jones. It's going to be a very close play anyway. Surprised that Garcia Jr. didn't take the ball. He charged it and let it go over his head, and then Senior had to come get it, which meant the pitcher had to cover the bag. And that created all sorts of confusion. So it ends up being a single for Malik Jones, and now Jake Ortega will come to the plate. And he will hit from the left side with nobody out and a runner on first base. And he'll hit from the left side, and the first pitch on the way to Ortega, and catches a corner for a strike. So 0-1 the count here to Ortega. Nobody out in the Bakersfield second, and a runner aboard here as Garcia works from the stretch. And here's the 0-1 pitch to Ortega. Hits the other way, gloved by the third baseman Torres. He'll throw over to first, and in time to get Jones at first on the force. So Jones leaning a little too far away. A great play by Torres at third with the glove, and he doubles up Jones at first base. So the line out for out number 1, and then the throw back over to first base to get the diving Jones on the bag with the force is out number 2, as Christian Deaton will come to the plate. First pitch to Deaton, shows bunt, takes, pulls back inside for ball 1. Deaton yesterday in the ball game came in as a pinch hitter, went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. A matter of about 2 innings of work. The 1-0. Deaton takes that changeup inside and count 2 balls and no strikes. So a couple good defensive plays for both the Roadrunners and UTRGV in this one. Both teams kind of exchanged errors in the first 2 games, as here's the 2-0. That one's slapped towards shortstop, going to be taken by Estrella to his left, comes up throwing to first in time, and that'll do it for the Roadrunners. So for Bakersfield, no runs on 1 hit, nobody left at the end of 2. It's still scoreless. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 91 FM ESPN and the Roadrunner Sports Network. Back at Hartfield, we head to the top of the third inning. Scoreless. CSUB and UT Rio Grande Valley is due up for the Vaqueros. It'll be 7, 8, 9, Torres, Oaks, and Australia. And the first pitch from Jones is in there for a strike. Nice play by Torres in that last inning. He gloved that line drive from Ortega at third, able to throw across the diamond and get Jones leaning away from first base on the double play. Here's the 0-1 to Torres, and that'll miss down and away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. So scoreless here in the top of the third inning as the Roadrunners and Vaqueros jockeying for the series win here today. As here's the 1-1, and that one's grounded towards third. Metzger charges, gets it on a hop, knocks it down, but it ends up in front of him, and Torres will be safe at first base. Decided to play that one aggressively, came charging in and knocked the ball down, but not much else he could do with that on the slow chopper to third. So it ends up knocking down for an infield single. So that'll bring up Austin Oaks hitting from the right side, as once again the Vaqueros have a runner aboard here in an inning. And Oaks, the catcher, didn't play yesterday. Noah Lee got the start behind the dish. First pitch misses down and away for ball 1. So 1-0 here to the Vaquero catcher, hitting .217 on the season. And the next pitch will just miss outside. And the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Jones has done a pretty good job getting in front of hitters today. And the Roadrunners did a nice job for the most part yesterday doing that, but it was closing them out, which was problematic. 2-0, bunt being shown. He will pull back and take a strike. And the count moves to 2-1. Jeremy Beard and I were talking before the game about some of the gamesmanship between Manny Mantrana and Jeremy Beard, the 2 head coaches in this series. As here's the stretch and the 2-1 on the way from Jones. And that'll miss outside for a ball. So the count's 3-1. And he said, you know, and I started when I told Beard about Friday night's game. I said, by the way, great call on that double steal on the first pitch of a new hitter, of our new pitcher into the game. As here's the 3-1. Swung on and missed on the up and in fastball. And the count 3-2. I said, that was a great call because the Vaqueros went to the bullpen. Runners had him on first and second in an inning that was starting to drag on. He called a double steal. The catcher, who at the time was Oaks, ended up throwing the ball clean into left field, not even getting near third base. He just airmailed it all the way to left. As here's the payoff pitch. Swung on a miss, strike 3, throw back over to first base with the tag. Not in time to get the diving Torres, but that was close. As Oaks goes down swinging, and there's one away. Nice job by Jones battling back from the 2-0 count, as now that'll bring up Ivan Australia. But and he said, and Beard said, yeah, thank you. I saw the pitcher warming up. I saw that nice, tall, slow leg kick, and I thought, let's do it. And he said, and as soon as I did it, he goes, I look over in the dugout, and Manny just kind of shook his head and then tipped his cap at me. As here's the next pitch. Popped up in the infield, now into the shallow outfield. Carter going back, going to be a tough play. Metzger coming over, and it's going to be foul. It drops down just outside of fair territory. There was another situation where the Roadrunners bunted, and that safety squeeze situation, which was down the first baseline, turned into an error for the Vaqueros as well. And so he said in yesterday's game, and I didn't catch it at the time, but the leadoff hitter for the Vaqueros with 2 strikes laid down a bunt, which was a single. And Beardstead looked over, and Manning had a smile on his face, and he said, I'd tip my cap at him. And he said the gamesmanship was on. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that breaking ball just going to be high here in the count 1-1. So if you think the coaches aren't playing games with each other, you're wrong, because they definitely are. 1 ball and 1 strike. Runner away from first. 1 out here in the Vaquero third inning. And here's the 1-1. Popped up, foul right side, and out of play. So the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes now. as the right-hander faces the right-hander Malik Jones. Australia hitting .261 coming into the ball game. As here's his 1-2 pitch from Jones. Down and away. Ortega's going to block it nicely up the first baseline and stumbles a bit as well as he tries to get his feet, but he kept the runner at first base. That was something, too, that I know last year, Jeremy Beard being responsible for the pitchers, but also, to an extent, the catchers as well. It kind of comes with the same territory. But defensively, the strides that a guy like Ortega and even Junior Felix this season have taken behind the plate have been pretty impressive, as here's the 2-2 from Jones. Chopper, third base again. Metzger off a big hop will have to go to first. Only play he has there for the out. Hit a little harder. Could have been another double play in the inning. Instead, it's going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to send Torres to second. And grounded out is Estrella on the 5-3 putout. But that brings up Conrad McMahon, who has seen the ball very well in this series with a runner in scoring position and 2 away. But Jeremy Beard was very happy with the way his catchers have developed defensively, and that's a good kind of example right there, seeing what Junior Felix was able to do on that ball. A lot of pass balls last year, wild pitches, take your pick, but balls, a lot of the balls the catchers probably should have had, and this year they've cut those down considerably. Guys are doing a great job behind the dish. First pitch on the way here to McMahon, and it's going to be hit towards second base. Tengen is down on it. He'll throw it over to first base for the out, and that'll do it for the Vaqueros. So for the Vaqueros, another no runs on 1 hit, and they leave 1 at the end of 2.5. We're still scoreless. Runners coming to bat. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 98.1 FM, and the Roadrunner Sports Network. And we're back at Hartfield as we head to the bottom of the third inning. Scoreless, CSUB and UT Rio Grande Valley. A rubber game of the 3-game series as due up for the Roadrunners. It'll be 9-1-2, Tengen, Pena, and Penner. As seen some good defense here on a Sunday. I know sometimes the Sunday games are where the errors start to come out and bite you. I think both teams had a little bit of that already in the first few games. It was UTRGV's turn on Friday, the Roadrunners' turn yesterday. As here's the first pitch to Tengen. Shows bunt, takes on the outside corner for a strike. Both pitchers, though, so far doing a nice job, too. Pitching to contact. Garcia's done that on a couple of occasions for UTRGV. Got a couple defensive plays behind him. Jones has done it for CSUB as well. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2 on that slurve there from Garcia. And the count 0-2 to Tengen. Tengen came in hitting 172 for Bakersfield. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tengen. And here's the next pitch on the way. In the dirt for a ball. So 2-2 the count. And the pitch to the Roadrunner second baseman. This is outside for a ball. Tengen on the season. Guy who's been on base quite a bit. .385 on base percentage. Tough to pitch to with that 5.5 frame that he's working with. As here's the payoff pitch now to Tengen. Got him on a called strike 3 on the corner. Tengen thought it was ball 4 after throwing the bat and heading to the halfway up the line, but not the case as he strikes out looking. And that will bring up the top of the order in Mark Pena. So Tengen goes down looking for out number 1. Looks like a pretty good pitch as well. And now Mark Pena will come to the plate. Pena grounded out to the pitchers last time up. Hit a tapper off the dirt. First pitch. Slider going to miss outside for a ball on the count 1-0. Oh, 1 ball and no strikes to the Roadrunner center field. And the next pitch fouled off again. Reaches a bit for that outside off-speed offering. It's that kind of slurve, slider, curveball combo that he chased out there. And just made enough contact on the count. 1-1 to Pena. Came in hitting .309. And the pitch. Swung on a miss. Fastball running in. And the count 1-2. Second time through the lineup, so we'll see if we see more off-speed stuff from Garcia. He definitely has been consistent at working in on a lot of hitters. He did right there on Pena. So here's the 1-2. Change up, got him on a called strike 3 as 2 down for the rate. Good mix, seeing a little more off-speed stuff on that at-bat, and he got him looking on a changeup. And now Penner will come to the plate. 1 for 1 in his day today. Got a single back in the first. First pitch gets him on the shoulder. And he'll go to first base. So Penner wears that one on the upper part of the arm. And now David Metzger will come to the plate. Metzger singled his last time up to the left side. Came in hitting .337 on the year. Penner looks to be okay at first base. Had that weird play yesterday where Collazo from UTRGV was hit with a pitch, but he started to swing. So he made an attempt at the ball, and after the umpires talked it over, they said he did attempt to swing, so they called him back in the box and ended up popping out in that inning, but that was a weird play. First pitch on the way to Metzger. Gets that slider in there for a strike, and the count 0-1. Metzger up with 2 away, as on the season, David Metzger with 2 outs is hitting .393. Throw back over to first, and diving back safely is Penner. Penner's 2 for 3 in his stolen bases this season. Roadrunner's a little more active on the base paths this year, at least in stolen base attempts and success this early in the year. Here's the 0-1 now to David Metzger. Breaking ball popped up foul, right side out of play. And the count 0-2. So 2 outs in the Bakersfield third, a runner on first. As Metzger digging in from the right side. Been a base runner in every inning, every half inning thus far for each team in this one. So 0-2 the count to Metzger, and here's the pitch from Garcia. Pitch out, and they take a look back over to first, and Penner is back without a throw. So no balls and 2 strikes, or 1 ball and 2 strikes to David Metzger. Couple sacrifices yesterday, sac fly RBI, which he does very well. And then another throw back over to first here. He also had the big bunt that put their tying run in scoring position in the 8th. Runners couldn't quite push it around, and then he ended up popping out in the 9th inning with the tying run at second. 1-2 to David Metzger. And the pitch again. Hit towards the right side, foul just in front of the first base bag, and we'll do it again at 1-2. Everybody underway here in the Sunday WAC baseball games. Grand Canyon ahead of Northern Colorado right now, 2-0 in the bottom of the second. They look for the series sweep there. Non-conference weekend for Chicago State. They're trailing Eastern Michigan 2-1 in the bottom of the fourth. And New Mexico State is up on Seattle in the top of the third, 4-0. Redhawks out to a struggling start. They were picked to win the league Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Popped up again, foul territory. This one near the bullpen, and will get out of play. Matter of fact, Seattle, along with the Roadrunners right now, 1-4 in league play. But they are losing by 4 already in the third inning in Seattle. And of those 4 losses, they've come at home in WAC series as well. Kind of a surprising slow start for them, but just a couple weeks into the season for some teams. New Mexico State playing their first conference series, and they might go 3-0 if they hold on to that lead. This ball hit towards shortstop, going to go back and over the head of Australia, and heading to second base is Penner. So a nice at-bat from Metzger, going to pick up his second base hit of the ball game, and now the Roadrunners again put him in scoring position with 2 away for Max Carter. Carter with a ground ball out his last time up. Roadrunners had a hit and run on of sorts, and he was able to make contact to the right side, pushed everybody up a base as the runners went in motion. So now Carter trying to put the Roadrunners on top. Penner at second base. Carter grounded out, as I mentioned, his last time up. And last night, Max Carter 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. And it was Friday night's winning pitcher. First pitch to Carter, inside corner for a strike on the fastball. Well, Carter had a good 4th win of the season on Friday night, went 7 1/3. Nathan Dewsnap came in, got the 5-out save, although it was fairly dramatic in the 9th as well. Again, both these teams, neither team with the lead has gone down, has cruised to a victory, even with a 10-run lead last night in the case of UT-RGV. Here's the 0-1 to Carter. Takes that slider outside, and the count 1-1. Roadrunners were up 6-2 going into that 9th the other day, gave up 3 runs, 1 at 6-5, and then yesterday, down 13-3 in the 7th, picked up 8 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, and ended up losing 13-12. 1 ball and 1 strike to Carter. Runners away from the bags as Garcia will work out of the stretch, and here's the 1-1 offering to Max Carter. Breaking ball, going to miss again outside, and the count 2-1. We are definitely seeing Garcia being true to the scouting report. He's throwing a little bit more off-speed stuff in this second time through the lineup. 2 balls and a strike, and 2 away in the Bakersfield third, trying to draw first blood for the first time in this series. Been playing from behind in all these games, and Friday's win, and then in Saturday's loss. 2-1 to Carter. Runners away from the bags once again, and here's the 2-1 pitch. Carter pops it up in the infield. First baseman Garcia Jr. coming in. Pitcher calling for it. It's in foul territory, and they run into each other, and it falls. A interesting play there. Garcia and Garcia both colliding on the play. There's no defensive draw up where that is ever the pitcher's ball. The pitcher is supposed to stay away from those completely. Even the ones hit right back to the mound, the pitcher is supposed to get out of the play. So for some reason, Andrew Garcia decided to try to make a play on the ball when Victor Garcia Jr. from first had a better play. They run into each other. The ball falls foul. So that will go down as an error. And Carter's at bat. And kind of a mental breakdown for the pitcher there, because in no way, shape, or form is that ball ever his, especially where it was located on the first baseline. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Carter. The Vaqueros can get out of the jam. The pitch. Carter fouls one off again, and we'll do it again at 2-2. I mean, as I mentioned, you'll see pitchers run off the mound to get out of the way of balls hit right back up at them in the pop-up variety. Been a while since I've seen that, where a pitcher goes into foul territory to try to make a catch and then calls out or tries to call off a first baseman. I'm sure Victor Garcia Jr. scratching his head too as to why the pitcher was trying to call him off on the play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'll see if the runners can make that sting a bit. And the pitch to Carter. Down low for a ball, and the count now full. So 3-2 to Max Carter. As they lead away from the bags here. Carter trying to take advantage of that error that extended his at-bat. And here is the payoff pitch to Max Carter. Ball 4, he walks him outside on the fastball. So it hasn't cost them a run yet, but it will extend the inning on the air as Max Carter receives the walk. And now Ryan Grotjohn at the plate. Grotjohn, you hate to use the term is due, but he is 0 for 1 today. And you go back to yesterday's game, Grotjohn was 0 for 3, a pair of walks, but 0 for 3, 3 flyouts to center field. And then go back to Friday night, Grotjohn was 3 for 4. That was his big game. Yesterday struggled a bit with those pop-outs, but did reach base twice. First pitch to Grotjohn. And the fastball's in there for a strike. So Grotjohn, big opportunity here once again with the bases loaded and 2 away, trying to make that error extend the inning and maybe get some runs across. He's an .800 hitter with the bases loaded this year, 4 for 5 in this situation for Grotjohn. Hitting .548 with 2 outs in an inning as well. 0-1 pitch. Changeup misses outside for a ball. So Grotjohn, chance to give the Roadrunners the lead here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 2 away. You got Penner with 2 outs, Metzger who singled, and Carter who was walked. So 1-1 here to Ryan Grotjohn. Came in today hitting .440. And the pitch. Breaking ball high for a ball, and the count 2-1. UTRGV in yesterday's game, they marched 4 pitchers out. The Roadrunners used 5 pitchers. So Sunday Arms, we'll see who's got what left. I know Bakersfield, though, probably go to Isaiah Moten first. Malik Jones, though, was throwing well for the first 3 innings. 2 balls and a strike to Grotjohn. And here's the pitch. Chop foul in the box. That slider running in on Grotjohn a bit. And he took a hack at it and fouls it off. So 2-2 to Grotjohn. Darndest thing yesterday, he had 3 pop-outs to center. He was getting pretty frustrated, as he had some decent contact, but got under it a little bit and sent him to center field on the pop-ups. So 2-2 the counts. And the pitch to Grotjohn. Lifted into shallow center field once again. Charging in is McMahon. He'll make the grab, and Grotjohn pops out to center once again. Roadrunners threatened, but nothing across in the 3rd. They get no runs on 1 hit. They leave them loaded at the end of 3. Still scoreless. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 98.1 FM ESPN, and the Roadrunner Sports Network. Welcome back to Hartfield as we head to the top of the 4th inning. Scoreless, CSUB and UT Rio Grande Valley due up for the Vaqueros in the 4th. They'll go 2-3-4. Castillo, Steiner, and Garcia. As Castillo striking out his last time up. He's been a tough out in this series. I tell you, McMahon and Castillo have been incredibly difficult for CSUB to get out here in this series. And Castillo struck out last time up, went up in the count 2-0, and then Jones battled back and got him swinging. So the first pitch of the 4th inning from Malik Jones on the way, and that will miss outside for a ball. Malik Jones, the second Jones brother to play here at CSUB. As here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. That's in there for a strike. His older brother Miles, finishing a couple years ago, was drafted in the Colorado Rockies organization, and now with spring training over, looks like he's been assigned to essentially his hometown team, the Lancaster Jethawks. Here's the 1-1, and that'll catch the outside corner, at least according to the Jethawks website this morning. And in the ever-shifting world of minor league baseball affiliations, the Rockies went from Modesto in the California League to Lancaster in the California League. As here's the 1-2. And that'll miss down and away for a ball. So Jones, originally from Lancaster, they border each other. You can literally throw a rock from one to the other. Yeah, he'll be playing at home to start the season. So very cool there. As the count 2-2 on the way to Castillo. Lifts it, left side base hit. As he reaches out and goes to the right side of the third base bag. Coming in from left field is Penner. He'll make a play. He'll throw it to second. The tag, not in time. Tengen applied it, but sliding in just in time to beat it was Castillo. So he reaches out and takes the off-speed pitch the other way and gets the base hit. It'll be a double for Castillo, and now the Vaqueros, for the second time today, have a runner in scoring position. A good piece of hitting by Castillo after striking out his last time up against Malik Jones. So, yeah, his older brother Miles, who played in Asheville last year, will get to go home and play in Lancaster for the start of the season. As here's the first pitch on the way here to Austin Senior in there for a strike. Unfortunately, could have played games in Bakersfield this year had the Bakersfield Blaze not been shut down and moved to the Carolina League. He would have been back in town playing quite a bit, but not too far, though, Lancaster from Bakersfield, for those that want to make that trek to see a former Roadrunner play in the minors. Ball fouled off. Actually, he'll be the first Roadrunner to play in the Cal League since Jeremy Rodriguez played for the Lake Elsinore Storm in the Padres organization a few years back. He's now managing in the Dodgers organization at the high A level in Great Lakes. 0-2 the counts. And here's the pitch from Jones. Upstairs, and Senior lays off in the count 1-2. But they got a great ballpark down there in Lancaster. It's a lot newer than about now. I think it's sitting around 20 years old, but did a nice job on that facility. And so, again, not that far for Roadrunner fans who want to go see a former runner play in the minors. The 1-2. Just missing low there in the count 2-2. But, hey, that's a minor leaguer's dream for a guy like Miles to be able to play at home for a year. Obviously, those living expenses go down quite a bit. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way from Malik Jones. Lifted into center field. Pena giving chase, going back. The ball still ranging. Pena still going back. Pena reaching, missing the ball out of his glove. It's going to fall to the warning track, and it's going to be a double for Senior. Pena, that ball carrying a little bit as it went to the right center field alley, and that wind tends to carry the ball, and it just kept carrying on Pena. And he kind of reached over his shoulder and got his glove on it, but he couldn't hold on to it before he slammed into the wall. So back-to-back doubles, although Castillo only gets to third base, trying to see if that ball was going to be caught. So now the Vaqueros in business with runners at second and third and nobody out for Jose Garcia, the left fielder. Garcia on the season with runners on base, hitting .333. With a runner on third and less than 2 outs, he's a .714 hitter. He's 5 for 7 in this situation. Came in hitting .362, popped out the center his last time up. First pitch from Jones. Outside for a ball. Infield in on the right side as Carter on the edge of the grass, and the same on the left side. Metzger playing just a step off the edge of the grass. Back a bit up the middle with Tengen and Grosjean playing on the edge of the outfield grass. Next pitch blocked by Ortega in the dirt, and the count goes to 2-0. So Castillo doubled down the third base line, and then Austin Senior doubles in the right center field gap. That was a shot. Penner got a good jump on it, but I think it carried a lot more than he expected because he tried to play catch up on it after the wind got a hold of it. Not blowing out terribly today, but there is that So did Jetstream, blowing out to right center as normal in this ballpark. Here's the 2-0. Misses down and away, and the count 3-0 here. Garcia, 4 home runs and 20 batted in as well. Last night he was 0 for 3 with a sacrifice and a walk. And up in the count here, 3-0. Here's the pitch from Jones. That's in there for a strike with a fastball at 84, and the count now 3-1. And Garcia in Friday's contest for the Vaqueros as well was 1 for 4. Had a single in the 3rd inning in Friday's game. Here's the stretch for Jones in the 3-1 pitch. Popped up foul as Jones tries to battle back here. So the count full once again. Biggest threat of the game thus far for the Vaqueros, although they did get a runner at second base back in the 3rd inning. But back-to-back doubles here to start their half of the 4th. So Jones out of the stretch here for CSUB, trying to get out of this jam. And time is called at the plate by Garcia. Collazo on deck. He's got a single for the Vaqueros his last time up in the 2nd. Here's a 3-2 from Jones. Hit into left field, but right at Penner. He will reach up, make Theo, and it's 1-0 UTRGV. So again, the Roadrunners plenty of chances, couldn't push any runs across, and now the Vaqueros once again get first blood in the ball game, and they lead it 1-0. Senior stays put at second base. And the RBI will be number 21 on the year for Jose Garcia, as Joseph Collazo will come to the plate. Collazo hitting .263. He's got 3 home runs, 24 batted in. Collazo yesterday 0 for 2 with 2 RBIs. A sacrifice, a walk, was hit by a pitch as well. First pitch from Jones is a ball. So a runner at second base and 1 out here for the Vaqueros. They got the sac fly they needed to push across the run. The Roadrunners, meanwhile, have had runners in scoring position in the 1st and the 3rd. Next pitch, chopped towards short, charging his Grotjohn. He will settle, makes the throw in the dirt. Backhanded, though, by Carter. Got a long hop in front. Actually kind of skipped that off the grass, so plenty of time for Carter to play the bounce. And they retire him at first, and heading to third base is Senior. Collazo moves pretty well. I think he rushed Grotjohn a little bit. But the throw, as I said, the bounce was so far in front of Carter, able to pick that one cleanly off the grass. And as that'll bring up Victor Garcia Jr., the first baseman. Speaking of solid glove work, he hit that shot to the first baseman Carter his last time up, that 3-6-3 double play at the end of the inning. First pitch on the way here, and that's on the outside corner for a called strike. Carter made a great play on a backhand, fired it to Grotjohn covering the second base bag, and then back to his own bag to get the out there. So 0-1 the count. To the lefty, Victor Garcia Jr. Pitch from Jones. Breaking ball way outside. Victor Garcia Jr. against right-handers this year, only hitting .175. Obviously more at-bats against righties than lefties. He's 4 for 9 against left-handers, 10 for 57 coming into the ball game against right-handers. The 1-1. Lifted into center field. This time more playable for Pena. He'll circle around, get underneath, and make the grab, and that'll do it for the Vaqueros. But they get 1 run on 2 hits, and at the end of 4, make that 3.5, heading to the bottom of the 4th. 1-0, UTRGV on top. We'll be back. This is Roadrunners Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 98.1 FM ESPN, and the Roadrunner Sports Network. And welcome back to Hartfield. We head to the bottom of the fourth inning. 1-0 UTRGV on top of CSUB as 6, 7, 8. Jones, Ortega, and Deaton all due up for Bakersfield as the first pitch of the fourth is in there for a strike on the pitcher-pitcher matchup. Roadrunners trailing once again here in the series. And had some chances, though, today, and just couldn't push them across. And here's the 0-1, and that's going to bounce in the dirt. If we've learned anything about these two teams meeting in this series, is that you got to play all 27 outs, that's for sure. As there's been a lot of rallies in this one. As here's the 1-1 to Jones. Ground ball going to go towards shortstop. Australia is there. He'll throw it over to first base, and Jones is retired. So one gone as Jake Ortega, who had a hot shot to third base last time, which turned to a double play. Will come in from the left side. Ortega hitting, and as a lefty against right-handers, he hits .382. First pitch on the way. Ortega takes that slurve in there for a strike. Talking about the improvement defensively for guys like Ortega and Junior Felix behind the plate. Offensively as well, both those guys hitting the ball really well. As here's the 0-1 to Ortega. And that's going to miss down and away, and the count evens up at 1-1. So one gone here in the Bakersfield fourth, trailing 1-0. And the catcher Ortega at the plate. Here's his 1-1 pitch. Hit the left side. This time, no one's going to get there. Base hit. Soft line drive in the 6th hole for his first hit of the ball game. And again, Ortega hitting the ball well this season for the Roadrunners. And now Christian Deaton will come to the plate. Deaton grounded out to short his last time up.
Number 1,
Pair of hits, RBI, runs scored yesterday, and a pinch hit opportunity, and then he continued in right field for the Roadrunners, so earned himself a Sunday start. Although Covaleta's played pretty well there in right field this season and at the plate for CSUB. First pitch on the way to Deaton, and he'll take down and in on the slider for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. And one gone, the Bakersfield fourth. Trailing 1-0 here to UTRGV on this Sunday. As here's the 1-1 delivery. Runner goes, Deaton swings and fouls it off. Ortega stole a base yesterday. His first of the season, but again for a catcher, kind of sneaky speed. He's pretty quick. So he goes back to first, and the count 1-1 on Deaton. You'll see this a lot for the Roadrunners. Again, Jeremy Beard not a huge fan of sacrificing guys around. So you'll see, runners go, some safety squeezes, and you'll see those kind of safety drag bunts, things like that. As the next pitch, a ball to Deaton. The hit and runs on contact, stuff like that. And just flat out stolen bases too. So 2-1 the count to Deaton. Runner on first once again. Again, every team has put a runner on base each half inning thus far. Here's the throwback over to first base, and Ortega back safely. Ortega 1 for 1 on the year. Deaton hitting .228 this season, and as a lefty against right-handers, Deaton hitting .308. So 2-1 the count. The pitch. Hit into right field for a base hit. That one was left over the middle of the plate. That was that changeup. And for some reason, Garcia put it right down the middle. Deaton was all over it. So Deaton picks up another single. So Ortega and Deaton go single. And again, CSUB with a tying run in scoring position. As Austin Tengen, who struck out looking, coming to the plate. Tengen with a strikeout looking his last time up. He thought it was ball 4, but pretty decent pitch. And he went down looking. A tough guy to pitch to, though. Matter of fact, Tengen on the year with in whack play. He just has been walked a couple times. As the first pitch to Tengen misses for a ball. Down low in the count. 1-0. Tengen on the season has been walked 9 times. And one of those in conference play. So 1-0 the count to Tengen. And here's the pitch to the Roadrunners' second baseman. And that will drop in for a strike, and the count evens up at 1-1. Tengen hitting 172. Seen some time at second base now. They've shifted David Metzger over to third base. Not his natural position, but he's very good over there. So they've had some problems at third this year, and they've solved them with a solid infielder. So 1-1 the count. Jeremy Beard also pointing out, he said, look, all the scouts know Metzger can play second. So let's give him something to look at, let him play third base a little bit. And he can. He played it in the Summer League and for the Mankato Moondogs in the Northwoods League and was an all-star in that league. 1-1, bunt shown and a pitch out. Tengen pulls back and takes ball 2. Made a couple nice plays through this over the last summer. And again, a very solid. Had that rough play last inning, a kind of in-between hop ball. He charged and then ended up knocking it down, but couldn't make a play at first. It went down as an infield single. 2-1 here to Tengen, though. Now the replacement there at second base for the time being as Metzger shifts over to third. 2-1 to the freshman Tengen. Ortega from second, Deaton from first. And here's the 2-1 pitch. Nope, they're going to throw back to second base. They got Ortega leaning, but nobody was covering the bag. Had Australia been behind the bag, they might have got Ortega because he started leaning the other way. Good move by Garcia on the mound, but nobody to throw it to. So 2 balls and a strike. Roadrunners catch a bit of a break there. So 2-1 the count. As here's the pitch to Tengen. Ground ball to first base. It's going to be taken. They're going to go to second for 1. No play at first. Well, he will go to first, but Tengen going to beat it out. Nice play by Garcia Jr. He flips to Estrella for the lead runner, so to speak. Although Ortega, the actual lead runner, gets to third base. So Deaton cut down on the 3-6 put out. And there's 2 gone. As Tengen's is safe with the fielder's choice. And now Mark Pena coming to the plate. Well, another 2-out opportunity for Bakersfield. Again, they've been really good this season with 2 outs. But so far today, not been able to really push them across as they'd like. Roadrunners as a team enter the day hitting .337 with 2 outs, and their 2-out RBI total was at 56 for the year. They've had games where they've won. They beat a BYU team with all 2-out RBIs. They beat Nebraska with all 2-out RBIs. Trying to get one across here today and tie this ball game. First pitch on the way to Pena is a changeup for a strike, and the count 0-1. So Tengen away from first, and Ortega at second, or make that third. They're on the corners with 2 outs for the center fielder Pena, who's 0 for 2. Had a tapper in front of the plate, and a strikeout looking his last time up. Here's the 0-1 pitch now on the way to Pena. Down and away for a ball blocked by the catcher, Oaks. Oaks doing a second ball game for him in this series. And the count 1-1 now to Pena. Pena's got 15 batted in on the year. Came in hitting .309. Here's the stretch and the 1-1 to Pena. Up and away for ball 2. Pena no stranger to walks either. Matter of fact, he leads this team with 14. It's Pena, Penner, and Max Carter. 14, 11, and 10 respectively in the walks category. Actually, Carter now has 11. Got one today. As the count 2-1. And the pitch. Chopper towards third base. Torres will glove it. He'll collect. He'll make the throw across the diamond. And once again, the runner's threatened but can't push a runner across. And at the end of 4, no runs on 2 hits. And at the end of 4, it's 1-0 UTRGV. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 91 FM ESPN and the Roadrunner Sports Network. Back at Hartfield as we head to the top of the 5th inning, 1-0 UT Rio Grande Valley on top of CSUB. As the Roadrunners threaten again in the 4th, couldn't quite push it across. Now the Vaqueros will send 7, 8, 9, Torres, Oaks, and Estrella to the plate, facing Malik Jones, who so far given up the 1 run on 5 hits. As here's the first pitch, and that's going to be hit into left field for a base hit. First pitch fastball for Torres, and Torres hits it into left, so a leadoff single aboard. And again, each team thus far in each half inning has put a runner on board.
Austin Oaks.
So to bring up Austin Oaks, hitting .217 on the season. Oaks struck out his last time up swinging. Has 3 RBIs on the season. Roadrunners again, 4 on the road next week. Irvine and then Chicago State. And then 5 at home after that. As here's the bunt being shown. It's going to be bunted up the first baseline. Carter going to take it. He'll flip it to Tengen covering the first base bag for the out, but the sacrifice successful as Torres goes in to scoring position on the sac bunt by Oaks. So 3-4 on the put out there.
13,
and Ivan Estrella will come to the plate. He and Estrella came in hitting .261 here for the Vaqueros. Estrella last night, pretty solid. He was 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored for the Vaqueros and takes the first pitch high for ball 1. Estrella on Friday night was 2 for 3 with 2 runs batted in as well. So 1-0 here to the Vaquero shortstop. And the pitch. Going to miss outside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. And a quick visit from Ortega out to chat with Malik Jones. So the count 2-0 here. Jones doesn't fall behind a lot today, though. He's done a pretty good job. As here's the 2-0. This one's going to be hit into left and down the left field line for a base hit. Coming around to score from second base is Torres. Heading to second base is Estrella. The throw not in time, and it's another double for the Vaqueros, their 3rd of the ball game in as many innings. And it's 2-0 UTRGV. So again, Jones once in a while can find bats, and that's what he did there. Left one out over the plate for Estrella, who drives it into left field for the RBI double. And now the top of the order, the tough out top of the order here for the Vaqueros. And now Jeremy Beard out to chat with Malik Jones. Jones had a solid 1st and 2nd inning, even the 3rd as well. Only gave up 3 hits across those 3 innings, but then now 3 doubles in each of the last 2 innings. And that's going to be it for Malik Jones, as we're going to see Isaiah Moten coming into the ball game. So 4 complete for Jones, and 4 1/3 for Jones. He will give way to Isaiah Moten, who's been a Sunday starter and familiar with this position. Trailing 2-0. Moten coming in to get warmed up. We'll take a break and be back. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM and 91 FM ESPN and the Roadrunner Sports Network. Back at Hartfield as Isaiah Moten gets his warm-ups completed here, as Moten will come in for Malik Jones. Moten on the season, 2-2 with a 3.91 ERA. This is his 8th appearance. He has 4 starts. He's thrown 25 1/3, giving up 11 earned runs on 26 hits, 10 walks, 15 strikeouts. He has a 280 average against. And Malik Jones right now, the line on him, although he's responsible for the runner at second base. He's gone 4 1/3, giving up 2 earned runs on 7 hits. No walks, 2 strikeouts through 64 pitches. So Moten trying to minimize the damage on the run across for the Vaqueros here in the 5th inning. And they have a runner at second base, 1 away for Conrad McMahon, who was 1 for 2 today. And the first pitch to McMahon is popped up into right center. Coming over is Deaton from right. He will make the catch. And holding at second base is Estrella. I think McMahon has done the Roadrunners a couple of favors the last 2 at-bats. He swung first pitch. One was a ground out to second, and that was a pop out to right field. And again, he had 3 hits yesterday and 1 today. And kind of helped the Roadrunners out here. So that will bring up Chris Castillo with 2 away. He, too, a tough out in this series. Castillo, a double and a run scored his last time up. Isaiah Moten into the game. He's been the Sunday starter at times this season, so familiar with the Sunday afternoon sun. As here's the first pitch on the way to Castillo, and it's in there for a called strike. Pretty, decent outing for Jones. I mean, he gives up the 2 runs, and the 3 doubles in 2 innings was probably the most concerning part for him, the extra base hits, but first couple innings, got some ground balls, got some double plays in the inning. As here's the 0-1 from Moten. And that will miss outside for a ball. And the count 1-1. Pitching, though, the biggest priority for Jeremy Beard to sort of get shaped up. Obviously in WAC games, you got to win the WAC games to get to the WAC tournament. But he wants to have the pitching obviously primed and ready to roll if they can make it to Mesa. Here's the 1-1 as Moten steps off the rubber instead and looks Estrella back to second base. That'll be his biggest challenge. But like with Aaron Charles coming back, throwing well yesterday, trying to place in a few of these other guys that are pitching better, although they haven't reached their potential yet. Might have a decent shot. Here's the 1-1 on the way. That's down low for a ball. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike. So 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. And another run across for UTRGV. They lead it 2-0. The third 2-0 lead at some point in the series for UTRGV. They've done the 2-0 in each of the first 2 ball games. And here's the 2-1 from Moten. Now a pickoff attempt. Good throw back to Grotjohn, covering from short, but diving back safely is Australia. That's about right on the money, though, as a pitcher, especially a right-hander, that spinning move off the rubber. He put that right on the money, and a close play there at second base. So 2-1 the counts. And again, Moten checking the runner at second. And here's his pitch. Popped up, back to the screen, and the count evens up at 2 apiece. So the Vaqueros got a leadoff single from Torres. They sacrificed him to second, and then Estrella with the RBI double. And then a pop out by McMahon, and Estrella at second base with 2 away. Lefty-righty matchup here for Castillo, who doubled and scored a run his last time up. Here's the 2-2 from Moten. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Moten gets the runners out of the jam, out of the bullpen. Does a nice job there. And the Vaqueros, though, put another run on the board. And so 1 run on 2 hits. And at the end of 4.5, 2-0, UTRGV. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 98.1 FM ESPN, the Roadrunner Sports Network. And we're back here at Hartfield as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 2-0 UTRGV on top of CSUB. Sunday matinee, the noontime start here in the Bakersfield sun. Feels like baseball season now. I know today's opening day in Major League Baseball. So I love about college ball. We've been at it for about a month and a half. We froze through February and a good chunk of March to bring you baseball games, and now the big fellas finally getting around to it as they enjoyed the sun of Arizona and Florida. The rest of us did it the hard way. Let's do it for the Roadrunners here in the 5th inning as they try to get back into this one. As they'll have 2, 3, 4, Penner, Metzger, and Carter. And the first pitch to Penner on the outside corner for a strike. Penner 1 for 1 today, had a single and was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. He's been on third base twice for the Roadrunners. They've had 3 runners on third. Couldn't bring any of them in. The 0-1. Penner takes high for a ball. So Andrew Garcia still working a shutout. No runs, 6 hits. Runners have not even really scattered them. Runners have put hits back-to-back in a couple of innings, but not able to get that final hit to score a run. The 1-1. Penner going to lift that one foul off the screen off the right side. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. So both teams will be on the road next week in WAC play. As we said, the Roadrunners go to Chicago State. As here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Hit into right field, base hit for Penner. That's a great piece of hitting. As he goes down a bit and inside out on the swing for the leadoff single for the Roadrunners. Penner's second hit of the ball game. As we said, the runners will go, actually both teams with 4 road games coming up. The Roadrunners go to UC Irvine on Tuesday, and then they go to Chicago State next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. UTRGV will be at Texas State on Wednesday. And then they will go to New Mexico State Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next week. So the first pitch on the way now to David Metzger is 2 for 2 today. And Metzger takes down and in for ball 1. Metzger singled in the first and singled in the 3rd, and he's been stranded on second both times. So the Roadrunners trail 2-0. That's not unfamiliar territory. They've spotted the Vaqueros 2 runs in each of the first 2 games as well. Came back on Friday, came up short on Saturday. So the count 1-0 was a quick throw back over to first, and Penner back safely. Penner 2 for 3 in his stolen base attempts this season. Metzger 2 for 2 today. And here's his 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball in there for a strike. It's that slider curve combo that Garcia throws. A couple pitchers throw that on the Vaqueros staff. We saw it last night out of Andrew Padron, who the runners touched up for a couple runs and 2 hits. 1 ball and 1 strike to the right-hander Metzger. And the pitch. Breaking ball. Metzger goes right side, base hit. They had the shift on, and Metzger beat the shift. Heading to third base is Penner. They had the second baseman, Senior, playing behind the second base bag, but then they threw a breaking ball. They must not read the scouting report very closely on David Metzger. There's not a spot on the diamond he can't hit the ball. And they decided to shift because his first 2 hits were to the left side, and it's probably one of the poorly thought out shifts that we've seen because Metzger had a whole lot of real estate over there by second base between second and first, and an easy ground ball for him over there, his 3rd hit of the ball game. So now they're at the corners with nobody out. And Max Carter at the plate, and we're going to have a visit to the mound. Nobody was throwing in the UTRGV bullpen. Nobody's even down there right now, so this is more of a pep talk for UTRGV than anything. As there is a little action in the Roadrunner bullpen, but doesn't look like anybody's throwing right now, just a few stretching. So a quick visit here after back-to-back singles. Again, the runners back-to-back singles in the first, back-to-back base runners in the third after hitting singles in the fourth, and now back-to-back singles in the fifth. But now they're on the corners. That's an interesting shift, though, for UTRGV. Senior was all the way behind the second base bag. And Metzger able to easily place that ball on the right side. Metzger is good at going the other way as anybody, especially if you give him something off speed on the outer half. So Metzger made him pay there, and now Senior back into more of a natural double play position at second base. And that brings up Max Carter with a runner on third base and nobody out. First and third for Bakersfield. First pitch on the way to Carter. Hit into right field, charging in is Castillo. He will reach up and make the grab. They're going to tag the runner from third. The throw will be up the line, and sliding in safely is Penner, going to second base and sliding in safely. And now the ball gets away from the second baseman. Heading over to third base now is Metzger on the stand-up. So the Roadrunners on a sacrifice fly score a run and advance a runner to third base. So Penner scores on the play easily. Castillo, not a very good throw from right, and that was a shallow fly ball. He had a good chance. Runners gambling a bit, sending Penner. Metzger then advances, and the Vaqueros will be charged with an error. So the error goes to the catcher on the throw back to second base. And so that puts Metzger at third base with one away. Now the tying run is at third for Bakersfield. And Ryan Grotjohn at the plate. So nice job by Max Carter on the sac fly. Pick up his 18th RBI of the year. And here's the first pitch to Ryan Grotjohn, who is 0 for 2 today. And that'll miss outside for a ball. Good news for Grotjohn right now is in the last 2 games, he's had a total of 4 pop-outs to center. With one away and a runner on third, if he pops it out to center, that'll score a run and tie the ball game. 2-1 UTRGV here in the bottom of the fifth. As here's the 1-0 to Grotjohn. Ground ball, right side, going to score a run. It's going to go to second base. Senior over to first for the out, but Metzger comes in to score, and we're tied at 2. So a great job by Grotjohn with the ground ball to the right side. He'll ground out, but pick up his 19th RBI of the year. Now Malik Jones at the plate, stayed in the game as a designated hitter after hitting for himself as a starting pitcher tonight. So Malik Jones from the right side, 1 for 2 today, a single and a ground out. First pitch on the way to Jones is that slider missing down and away for a ball. So the Roadrunners finally put a few together after hitting the ball well in the first few innings, but unable to push anybody across. But in the fifth, that changes. Back-to-back singles, a sac fly RBI, and then a throwing error by UTRGV, helping set up the RBI ground ball by Ryan Grotjohn. So 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch to Jones. And that'll miss down and away. And the count 2 balls and no strikes. Jake Ortega, the catcher, on deck for CSUB. So 2-0 the count to Jones. And here's the offering. Swung on and missed as he works inside with a fastball. The count 2-1 now to Jones. So Garcia gives up his clean sheet in the fifth as runners have got to him a bit, but still nobody throwing in the UTRGV bullpen. 2-1 on a miss outside of the count now, 3 balls and a strike. Two outs here in the Bakersfield fifth, but 2 across for the Roadrunners. They've tied the game at 2. And here's the 3-1 to Jones. Takes on the outer half for a called strike of that fastball again, and the count 3-2. Garcia still throwing hard. His last 2 fastballs been 87 and 88. So still got some velocity here in the 5th inning. The payoff pitch. Ground ball to short. Australia gets through his legs. It'll be an error. Drop down to one knee. And then
catcher, number 3.
And let it get through his legs. And that will bring up Jake Ortega. Ortega hitting from the left side, and today Ortega 1 for 2. Hard contact twice. One was a line out to third base, and the other was a soft liner that direction. But now Jones at first base, and here's the 2-0 to Ortega. Hit up the middle. That's base hit over the glove of Estrella at shortstop. And Ortega, another single for the catcher, extends the Bakersfield fifth. And now the go-ahead run is at second base for Christian Deaton, who singled his last time up. And Deaton will dig in from the left side. Here's a stretch, and the pitch to Deaton is on the outside field. Shifted a bit. So 0-1 the count to Deaton. Go ahead and run at second base in Malik Jones, who reached on an air, and then the single. And here's the 0-1. Deaton, ground ball, right side. Senior on the edge of the grass. He'll make the throw to first, and that'll do it for the Bakersfield Threat. But the Roadrunners tie the ball game with 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave 2 and a pair of errors for the Vaqueros. At the end of 5 innings, we're tied at 2 apiece. Back after this. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 98.1 FM ESPN and the Roadrunner Sports Network.
Spectacular fountains on the street in a courtyard. Book your next day, your company VIPs at 4 Points Bakersfield. If you need an auto loan, visit Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, voted Kern County's best financial institution 21 years in a row.
To the top of the 6th we go here at Hartfield, tied at 2 apiece as UTRGV will send their 3, 4, 5 hitters to the plate here in the top of the 6th. Senior, Garcia, and Collazo. as Isaiah Moulton back in here to pitch the 6 for the Runners. Book closed on Malik Jones, 4 1/3, giving up 2 runs, 7 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts through 64 pitches. First pitch on the way from Moulton is in there for a called strike at the count 0-1. Roadrunners picking up 2 last inning and tying the ball game as here's the 0-1 on the way. Popped up and back out of play. So the Roadrunners will, as we mentioned before, go on the road for 4. We'll be back here on 1230 ESPN and the Roadrunner Sports Network on April the 11th against Cal State Northridge, 6 o'clock here at Hart Field. The 0-2 foul back to the screen again, and the count remains 0-2. And then that Utah Valley series coming up that weekend, as that will be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Next pitch popped up right field. Deaton going over, ball still carrying. Deaton on the run. Deaton at the wall. That ball's out of here. Senior popping that one up, and it just kept on carrying towards the right field corner. It'll be a solo home run for Austin Senior, and UTRGV back on top 3-2. Senior's 3rd home run of the season. Not a lot on that ball. It just sort of got up. Wind, the flag's not moving a lot in right, so it wasn't a ton of wind. Just kind of weird how that kept carrying towards the foul pole and then got out just over the fence. So Senior with the solo shot to give the Vaqueros the lead just like that. And that will bring up Jose foul in the dugout. The count 0-1. So far, Garcia today 0 for 1 with a sac fly RBI in the 4th. Next pitch misses outside there, and the count 1-1. Like I said, the wind was sort of shifting and blowing in now. That's just a weird deal. It's kind of swirling out maybe towards the foul pole. That's where that ball kind of kept traveling towards foul territory. The next pitch up and in, misses for a ball. It went over about 4 or 5 feet fair. Kind of kept carrying towards the foul pole. So nonetheless, 3-2 now, UTRGV. Here's the 2-1. Swung on and missed, strike 2 as Moulton reaches back and gets the fastball by him. And the count evening up at 2 apiece. So nobody out in the UTRGV 6th inning, and they've taken a 3-2 lead on the solo home run. And here's the 2-2 pitch. Moulton misses down and away, and the count now full. Oh, Moulton giving up his first run of the relief appearance. And again, wasn't a bad pitch either. Here's the payoff. That one's lifted into left. Playable for Penner as he comes in, makes the grab, and there is one away. One of those deals, too. I mean, it wasn't a terrible pitch. It was an opposite field home run. Elements might have helped it a little bit. If you're Moulton, you just kind of shake that one off because it wasn't like he made much of a mistake. As now Joseph Collazo comes to the plate. 1 for 2, a single in the 2nd. And got an infield single and then grounded out back in the 4th. Pitch on the way from Moulton. This one's lifted into center field, charging in is Pena. Pena will make the running grab, coming straight in towards the second base bag, and there's 2 gone.
First baseman, number 17, Victor Garcia Jr.
So Victor Garcia Jr. will now come to the plate with 2 gone for the Vaqueros. 0 for 2 today, hit into a double play in the 2nd, and popped out to center in the 4th. Digging in from the left side against the right-hander Moulton, and here's the first pitch. And that's in there for a strike. And the count 0-1. So the Roadrunners got to come from behind here in the series, but we've seen that this series is not over till the final out is recorded, the 0-1. And that'll miss outside. The Roadrunners had that 3-4 run lead on Friday, nearly go away, and UTRGV had a 10-run lead, nearly go away at the on Saturday night's game. The 1-1 fouled back. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes now as Moten tries to get the runners out of the 6th. And here's the 1-2 pitch from Moten. High foul. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Moten set and quickly ready to go back to work. Here's the windup and the 1-2. Just missing outside there with the changeup, and the count evening up at 2 apiece. Garcia Jr., that 3-6-3 double play in the second was a nice play by Max Carter. And then the pop out, the 2-2. Foul back to the screen, and we'll do it again. Came in today hitting .212, 7 RBIs on the season. As here's the windup and the 2-2 from Moten. In the dirt, ball 3, way in front. So now 3-2. Moten checks, and here comes the payoff pitch as time is called at the plate. And Moten sets again, is ready to roll. Here comes the payoff pitch from Moten. Hit well into right center field. Deaton going back again. This time he's going to get underneath it. Makes the grab, and that will do it for the Vaqueros. So a strange solo home run by Senior. That ball by Garcia hit much harder, but it dies in the gap. Senior gets the ball to leave the yard near the foul pole, and UTRGV leads it 3-2 on a 1 run on 1 hit at the end of 5.5. 3-2 Vaqueros. We'll be back. This is Roadrunners Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 98.1 FM ESPN and the Roadrunner Sports Network. Back here at Hartfield, 3-2, UTRGV on top of CSUB as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be Austin Tengen leading things off for the Roadrunners. It's 9-1-2, Tengen, Pena, and Penner all due up for Bakersfield. And the Austin Tengen reaching on fielder's choice his last time up, 0 for 2, and he takes the first pitch in there for a strike. Struck out back in the 3rd. So the Roadrunners put 2 up in the 5th to tie the game, and then Austin Senior going the other way with a solo home run to give the Vaqueros the 3-2 lead. The 0-1 to Tengen misses down and in. And the Roadrunners sending some company down to the bullpen. Looks like the Vaqueros are about to do the same. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Tengen, the Bakersfield second baseman, and here is the pitch. Going to show bunt, tries to drag towards first and misses. So the count 1-2. See that occasionally. The runners try to bunt, and they don't bunt a ton. When they do try to do things like that, they'll try to use their speed with lefties like Tengen. We sneak down a quick drag bunt. As here's the 1-2 pitch on the way to Tengen. Tapper over the mound, charging as Estrella from second. He'll throw to first just in time to get Tengen. Nice play by Estrella on the move, and Tengen is retired. So 1 get down as Mark Pena comes to the plate. Still looking for a hit today, 0 for 3. Tripled yesterday. That was his lone hit. Reached on a couple of walks, and today 0 for 3, 2 groundouts and a strikeout looking. Penner on deck. He's been hot. He's got a couple of hits on base 3 times today. First pitch to Pena, misses down and in for a ball. Pena came in hitting .309 on the season. Righty-righty matchup against right-handers. He's hitting .333 coming into the day. 1-0 the count, and here's the pitch to Pena. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Andrew Garcia's been solid today for UTRGV. Mixes stuff up well. Decent fastball, and his off-speed stuff's been okay. Good changeup. That slurve hasn't thrown it for strikes very much. As here's the next pitch. There is that slurve. Misses down and away. But he left the changeup out a couple times, got him into trouble. But his fastball's had good movement, and he does work in well on hitters. So 2-1 the count to Pena, and here's the next pitch. That changeup comes up and in, and the count now 3-1 on Pena. Pena leads the team 14 walks on the year, so see if he can earn another one here and bring up Penner, who's been solid at the plate today in actually last 2 ball games for the Roadrunners. Here's the 3-1 on the way to Pena, and that'll catch the outside corner. That fastball at 84. A little bit of velocity down and this late in the outing for Garcia, but he hits his 100 pitch at 84 miles an hour. And the payoff, the glove out. Nice play by Garcia. It was going to be a single had Garcia not got any leather on it. But as he touches it, it caroms over to Senior at second and robs the Roadrunners of a single. It's been a series, too, of those types of things happening. The bounces just going one team's way. Early yesterday, they all went UTRGV's way. Then they went the runners' way for the last few innings. And saw what happened right there is that one bounces in favor of the Vaqueros for sure on the putout, and there's 2 gone for Penner, and the first pitch misses low for a ball. That can go either way sometimes with those when the pitcher, reaches out and makes contact on one of those hits back towards the mound. This one's going to be lifted into left field for a base hit. And sometimes the second baseman is right on it, and then you kind of knock it away from him. That time, Senior didn't really move at second, and the ball gets hit right to him off the glove of Garcia. So the third single of the ball game for Penner. As that'll bring up David Metzger, who, speaking of 3 hits, is 3 for 3 with a run scored. Metzger hitting .337 on the season coming into today's ball game, helping him out quite a bit with 3 more singles. And now another runner on base with 2 away for David Metzger. Had a 1-out single in the second, a 2-out single in the third, and a no-out single in the 5th. First pitch to Metzger. Takes that breaking ball down and away. And the count 1 ball and no strikes to the Roadrunner third baseman. Penner at first. He's got 3 hits today. He and Metzger and Ortega, multiple hit games this afternoon. Here's the 1-0 to Metzger, and that will miss down and away as well. So 2 balls and no strikes to Metzger, 2 outs in the Bakersfield 6. 3 runs, 8 hits for UTRGV. 2 runs, 10 hits for the Roadrunners. 3 UTRGV errors. As here's the 2-0 from to Metzger. Takes high for ball 3. So the Roadrunners looking for a 2-out rally here in the 6th. They tied it in the 5th. The Vaqueros took the lead in the 6th with a solo home run. So 3-0 the count to the Bakersfield third baseman. Here's the stretch and the 3-0 pitch on the way to David Metzger. And rides up and in, ball 4, he walks him. So Penner heads to second base. The runner's trying to put together a 2-out rally as Metzger picks up the walk. That is the second walk issued by Garcia, plus a hit batter. So Max Carter coming to the plate. Carter issued one of those walks in the 3rd. He's 0 for 1 officially. He does have an RBI. Had a sac fly back in the 5th. And now we're going to have a visit from the UTRGV dugout. Still haven't seen anybody throwing in the Vaqueros bullpen. They've been a couple guys down there swinging bats, but not throwing here just yet. Again, Garcia's been pretty good. I mean, he's been able to get out of a couple jams. And he hasn't struggled that much with control. That was only his second walk. He only had 11 walks coming into the ball game. His 12th and 13th there, plus the hit batter today. And he's given up 10 hits, but still just 2 runs across. As Max Carter will come to the plate, hitting .354 coming into today's ball game. Carter, the right-hander, trying to tie the game with a runner at second base. Plenty of action on the base paths for both teams today. Nobody's gone down in order yet in the ball game. As Carter digs in from the right side, looking for his first pitch from Garcia, and here it comes. And that slider going to miss outside for ball 1. Been throwing quite a bit of that slurve here. The fastball's still pretty good from Garcia, although he's lost a few as he's over 100 pitches now. And now we're seeing some, nope, they're not really throwing. They're swinging in the, the UTRGV bullpen. 1 ball and no strikes. And the pitch to Carter, and Garcia will step off the rubber first. So 1-0 as Penner away from second base, Metzger away from first. Here's the stretch and the 1-0 delivery to Max Carter. Breaking ball hit towards short. Australia will get it. He's going to flip to second base. It's barehanded by Senior for the out. Nice play by Australia and Senior, who ends up barehanding the flip and preventing the tying run from scoring. So for the Roadrunners, they get no runs on 1 hit. They leave 1 at the end of 6. It's 3-2 UTRGV. We'll be back. This is Roadrunners Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 981 FM, ESPN, and the Roadrunner Sports Network. And welcome back to Hartfield as we head to the top of the 7th, 3-2 UTRGV on top of CSUB as due up for the Vaqueros. It'll be 7, 8, 9, Torres, Oaks, and Australia. As Torres 2 for 2 today with a run scored for UTRGV, and he digs in from the right side facing Isaiah Moten. For the first time today, first pitch on the way from Moten is in there for a strike. Moten's allowed, since coming into the game, 1 run on 1 hit. It was a solo home run last inning to give the Vaqueros a 3-2 lead. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that'll miss down and away. And the count 1-1. Runners threatening again, but with 2 outs last inning. Couldn't quite push that tying run across. Here's the 1-1 on the way from Moten. And that one's going to be fouled off the foot of Torres, and count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The leadoff hitter of the Vaquero 7th inning, Torres singled in the 3rd and singled and scored back in the 5th on the RBI double from Ivan Estrella. So 1-2 as Moten winds and delivers. Just missing outside there. And the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good pitch by Moten there. Came back with the slider just off the plate. And now 2-2 the count. He'll wind and deliver. Popped up in the infield. Grotjean from short. Metzger calls them all off from third and comes up with the ball. I don't think Grotjean could quite see it. He was trying to find it in the afternoon sun, but Metzger comes up with it. So 1 gone now for Austin Oaks. Oaks with a strikeout laid down a sacrifice his last time up, which set up Torres scoring on the Australia RBI double. First pitch from Oaks misses inside, and the count 1-0. Oaks came in hitting .217 for the Vaqueros this season. Caught on Friday, had the day off yesterday. As here's the 1-0 to Oaks. That one catches the outside, and the count evens up at 1-1. So Moten, quick working, set, and ready to roll once again. Gets the sign from Ortega, and here's the 1-1 pitch. That's going to run up and in, and the count 2 balls and a strike. Signals come from the dugout to the catcher, and then the catcher to the pitcher. And Moten, though, he's set, ready to go. Hand in glove, looking over the top. Got his pitch. Here's the 2-1. Ground ball to third. Metzger off a crazy hop comes up with it. Throws over to first base for the outs. Nice stab by David Metzger. He actually slid into that one a bit. Took it on the second hop and made a nice play. Just so natural with third base, even though it's not his normal position. But again, Jeremy Beard, after each game, as we've talked about the next game, he just said, you know, how good has Metzger been at third base, just making so many plays over there. And that's been what they've sort of been missing at third base, as that brings up Ivan Estrella in the first pitch. Misses down and away. Estrella 1 for 2 today. That RBI double in the 5th and grounded out back in the 3rd to third base. The 1-0. Foul back to the screen, and the count evens up at 1-1. That really helps, and the corners have been solid today for the Roadrunners. Max Carter's made 2 nice plays over there at first. David Metzger a couple. Matter of fact, both thus far in this inning, but a couple nice plays over there as well. Here's the 1-1. Lifted into left field. Penner going back. Penner on the run. Penner will make the grab, but then he collides with Pena. The ball falls to the turf. It's going to be a 2-out double for Australia. Not sure if he ever had it. Penner reached out, and then Pena ran into his arm, and the ball fell to the turf. A tough play there. That ball kept carrying, but it was one that maybe could have been made, but the outfielders run into each other. So second double now for Australia. As that will bring up Conrad McMahon. We'll see if that one hurts the Roadrunners a bit as well. That was a heck of a shot, though, into left center. The ball tends to die out there. That one carried a bit. It was hit pretty well by Australia. And now McMahon, who is 1 for 3 today at the plate. First pitch on the way. Hit into shallow center field, and this ball will drop in for a base hit, and it'll be an RBI as well. As coming around to score is Australia, and it's now 4-2 UTRGV. And got to make those plays on defense, and that's going to cost the Roadrunners a run there. As McMahon, a bloop single on the RBI with 2 away, and it's a 2-run lead now for the Vaqueros, as Chris Castillo will come to the plate. So another tough break for the runners goes the Vaqueros' way, and now Castillo going to come to the plate. With 2 gone in the Vaquero 7th inning. 4-2 UTRGV leads as Moten out of the stretch, and here's the first pitch on the way to Castillo. Misses outside for a ball. Castillo today is 1 for 3, a double and a run scored in the 4th. And that's surrounded by 2 strikeouts in the 1st and the 5th. So 1-0 the count. And here's the stretch and the pitch from Moten. Pitch on the way, popped up and back out of play. So for the Second night in a row, Bakersfield's going to go into the 7th trailing, although it was 10 last night, so got a little bit less of work to do, but still trailing a couple right now, trying to keep it at 2. As Castillo at the plate, and the 1-1 from Isaiah Moten will throw back over to first, and diving back safely is McMahon. McMahon 4 stolen bases in 9 attempts this year. Second on the team to Jose Garcia, who's got 7 stolen bases this season. 1 ball and 1 strike to Castillo. McMahon the way from first. The pitch, that's going to be low for a ball, and the fastball from Moten. So the count 2-1. Getting some action going in the Roadrunner bullpen. It looks like Nathan Dewsnap might be getting loose. The Roadrunners closer. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Moten. Runner goes, ball fouled off, back out of play. And so the count 2-2. Sure, the runners now, the best case scenario for them, they get out of this inning allowing just 1 run. And then they get their runs back. They can get 3 next inning, take the lead, bring Dewsnap in for the 8th and 9th. The 2-2. Chopper towards short. Grotjohn is there. He'll step on the bag as he was shaded towards that anyway. And he makes the out. But for the Vaqueros, 1 run on 2 hits. And at the end of 6 1/2, it's 4-2. UTRGV, 7th inning stretch time. Runners chasing a couple. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 91 FM ESPN and the Roadrunner Sports Network. Hartfield as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. 4-2, UTRGV on top of CSUB, and a pitching change for the Vaqueros. As UTRGV go to the bullpen, and they will bring in Josh Witherspoon. Saw him on Friday night in relief. He was a potential starter in this series and then came in relief on Friday. So book is closed on Andrew Garcia. He goes 6 complete, gives up 2 runs, 1 earned, 10 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, throws 109 pitches, and leaves with a 2-run lead. As due up for the Roadrunners here in the 6th inning, there'll be 5, 6, 7, Grotjohn, Jones, and Ortega. As Witherspoon, the junior lefty out of Hoboken, New Jersey. And the first pitch to Grotjohn is fouled back. Grotjohn, a lefty-lefty matchup here on the season. Grotjohn hitting .400 against left-handers. As the count moves to 0-1 to Grotjohn, trying to get something going for Bakersfield here. Trailing by a couple in the 7th inning. Trailed by 10 last night in the 7th and scored 8. So here's the 0-1 to Grotjohn. Takes up for a strike, and the count 0-2. So Grotjohn behind here, no balls and 2 strikes. As Witherspoon works out of the stretch, and here's the 0-2 delivery. Wastes one outside for a ball. Witherspoon's numbers this year: 0-2 with a 5.47 ERA. This is his 10th appearance. Thrown 26 in the third, give up 16 earned runs on 27 hits, 13 walks, 16 strikeouts, the .270 average against. And here is the 1-2 to Ryan Grotjohn. Popped up in the infield, playable, and coming over underneath to make the catch is Senior in at second base.
Designated hitter, number 10, Malik Jones.
So one gone for Malik Jones. As he'll hit from the right side. Jones 1 for 3 today. And now facing the left-hander in Witherspoon. The pitch, Jones takes on a corner for a strike. Witherspoon about 87 to 88 on his fastball, throws a slider and a changeup. Throws a lot of his breaking stuff to right-handed hitters. And throws this one, popped up though by Jones into right field. Castillo coming in. He'll make the grab, and there's 2 away.
Catcher,
So 2 gone for Jake Ortega. He's 2 for 3 today. Roadrunners trying to avoid their first 1-2-3 inning of the game. Matter of fact, nobody's gone down 1-2-3. There's been at least a base runner in each half inning. As Ortega at the plate with 2 gone. Ortega from the left side as well in the lefty-lefty matchup here. First pitch to Ortega. Misses down and away. Ortega came into the game 0 for 4 against left-handers this season. He's got Deaton on deck, being extend this 7th inning. Roadrunners trail by 2. And the 1-0. Line towards second, right at Senior though. He'll make the grab for the out. And the runners for the first time today go down in order. No runs, hits, or errors at the end of 7. It's 4-2. UTRGV will be back. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 98.1 FM ESPN and the Roadrunner Sports Network.
providing superior.
To the top of the 8th we go, and a couple of changes for the Roadrunners. First, defensively, Ryan Kono will come into the ball game to play shortstop for CSUB. Kono good in the late innings last night, and so he'll come in at shortstop for Bakersfield. And also into the ball game to pitch will be Nathan Dewsnap in for Isaiah Moten. So Moten comes in, does end up giving up 3 runs to the Vaqueros, or 2 runs to the Vaqueros. He solo shot in the 6th, and the RBI double that was hit into the left center field gap in the 7th. So now Nathan Dewsnap got the save Friday night, although gave up a few runs in the process, but held on for the 6-5 win. Will come into the ball game. Dewsnap on the season 3-0 with 3.79 ERA. This is his 12th appearance. He's thrown 19 innings, giving up 8 earned runs on 21 hits. He's got 4 walks, 23 strikeouts, and a .276 average against. Book is closed on Isaiah Moten. He goes 2 2/3, giving up 2 runs. Both earned 3 hits through 43 pitches. So it will bring up the right-hander, Austin Senior, who's had a good game tonight, or today, both offensively and defensively. Been busy over there at second base. Got a home run today and a double. He is 2 for 3. As here's the 1-0, and that's going to miss inside. And Dewsnap behind now, 2-0. So Dewsnap pitched on Friday and then did not see any action yesterday. As here's the 2-0. That one's fouled off, and the count 2 balls and a strike. Senior came in hitting 248, and now the double and the solo home run in the 6th. His 2 hits on the ball game. Roadrunners trail it 4-2. They tied it at 2 apiece, but then Senior's solo shot put him behind, as did the RBI double last inning. As here's the 2-1. This one hit towards third base and into the gap into left field for a base hit. Senior picks up his 3rd hit of the ball game. So Senior puts the Vaqueros on the base paths, and again, they will not go down in order. Runners went down in order in the 7th for the first time for either team this afternoon. So the left fielder, Jose Garcia, coming to the plate. 0 for 2 today, but a sacrifice fly with an RBI back in the 4th. That was the 11th hit of the ball game for UTRGV. So Dewsnap out of the stretch, and here's the first offering. Swung on and missed. And the count 0-1. Dewsnap, a little rise to that fastball. His 87, of course, it comes from that sidearm angle. So has interesting life on his pitches. No balls and a strike. Dewsnap, next pitch. There's that breaking ball hit into right field, down the right field line, but going to be just foul by about 2 feet. So 0-2 the counts. So Ryan Kono now at shortstop for the Roadrunners. He will enter in the 5 spot for Ryan Grotjohn. Grotjohn 0 for 4 offensively today with 1 RBI. As here's the 0-2. Just missing there. Didn't miss by much. And the count 1-2. Dewsnap not quite wasting that pitch, just out of the zone. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And here's the next pitch from Ag. Not going to be in time, and the count evens up at 2 apiece. Ortega, quick snap throw back over to first, and Carter applying the tag, but back safely was Senior. So the count evens up at 2-2 here to Garcia. Came in hitting 362. That sac fly in the 4th that made it 2-0 at the time. Here's the 2-2 on the way from Dewsnap. In the dirt, runner goes, late throw. It's going to be in time, though, for the out. That was probably the slowest stolen base attempt on both halves of the equation there. Senior with a late break. Ortega on a breaking ball in the dirt kind of came up late, but the throw still beat him in plenty of time. So Senior is cut down, and the count now full. And here's the payoff pitch from Dewsnap. Swung on and missed, strike 3 as down goes Garcia as he elevates on the fastball, and just like that, there's 2 away. Weird play there. I don't know what, I think Senior might have thought the ball got away from Ortega as it went down in the dirt. Late break, and Senior, not the quickest of foot, gave Ortega plenty of time to get the ball down there. So that's going to bring up Joseph Collazo, 1 for 3 today. And the first pitch is hit into right field, charging in and making the grab is Deaton, and that'll do it for the Vaqueros. No runs on 1 hit, nobody left at the end of 7.5. Still 4-2. UTRGV will be back. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 98.1 FM ESPN, and the Roadrunner Sports Network. And welcome back to Hartfield as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. A 4-2 lead for UTRGV as the Roadrunners running out of outs here to try to get this series as due up for Bakersfield here in the bottom of the 8th. It'll be 8-9-1 Deaton, Tengen, and Pena all due up for CSUB. Roadrunners down to their final 6 outs here. Down by 2, down by 10 last night. They scored 9. So obviously not an insurmountable number, especially in this series. But they went down in order for the first time last inning. And the first time they faced Josh Witherspoon. Well, the second time they faced him on Friday a little bit as well. So lefty-lefty here, Deaton and Witherspoon. And here's the first pitch. And that's high for a ball. And the count 1-0. Deaton today is 1 for 3, singled in the 4th. Pair of groundouts sandwiching that. The 1-0. Deaton towards shortstop. Australia bobbles it again, and he can't come up with it. He'll make a throw, but not in time. Another error for Estrella over there at short. He's either been phenomenal or he's booted some routine plays. It's been kind of either or for him today. He made a great play to end what was the 4th inning, I think, on the 5th inning. On a diving stab in the gap, he flipped it to Senior at second, who barehanded for the out, and then the error there, though, as Deaton is safe at first. So now Tengen at the plate, representing the tying run. He's 0 for 3 today, reached on a fielder's choice. First pitch to Tengen is in there for a called strike. Mark Pena on deck. Pena 0 for today as well, had a single robbed last inning, or last time up in the 6th. Went off the pitcher's glove right to Senior at second base, able to make the flip to first. 0-1, flip over to first base, and back safely is here's the 0-1 pitch on the way to Tengen. And that's in right field for UTRGV. Castillo moves from right to left field as Witherspoon steps off the rubber. So Gomez will enter in the ball game in the 4 spot for Garcia. Next pitch to Tengen, hit down the line but foul. So Gomez in the 4 spot. Again, Castillo goes from right to left. So 1-2 the counts to Austin Tengen. Deaton away from first. Nobody out in the Bakersfield 8th, trailing by 2. Witherspoon checks the runner, delivers. In the dirt, blocked by Oakes. And he'll stay put at first base, and the count evening up at 2 apiece. Pena on deck, and then Andrew Penner, who is 3 for 3 today, coming up. So it's a big at-bat right now. If Tengen can find a way to get on board, get some runners in scoring position with some hot bats coming up, due up in the order here in Penner and Metzger. The 2-2 on the way to Tengen. Chopper foul again, first baseline. And we'll do it again here at 2-2. Tengen hitting just 172 coming into the ball game. Two balls and 2 strikes to the freshman. Strikeout, ground out, and a fielder's choice today. Away from first base is Deaton. And here's the 2-2 to Tengen. Pops it up. Gonna get out of play into the stands. And we'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2-2 the count to Tengen. Again, a big at-bat. He finds a way to get on base here. Roadrunners could be in business. The stretch for Witherspoon and the 2-2 offering to Austin Tengen. Ground ball, first base. He'll step on the bag for one. They'll throw to second. The tag in time for the double play. So it goes 1-6 on the double play, and that's not what the Roadrunners wanted. So 6 unassisted, or make that 3 unassisted, and then to 6 on the double play there. And 2 gone now for Mark Pena. Pena 0 for 4 tonight, or today, 3 groundouts and a strikeout. First pitch in there for a strike. And the count 0-1. Here's a stretch and the 0-1 delivery now to Pena. That misses inside, and the count evens up at 1 apiece. Pena a couple walks yesterday and had a triple. But then today, 0 for 4. Ground out to the pitcher, basically the catcher, actually. A strikeout looking, and then ground out to third and second today. And here's the 1-1 to Pena. Ground ball towards shortstop. Australia off a good hop over to first in time, and the runners go down here in the 8th. No runs, no hits, 1 error at the end of 8. 4-2, UTRGV on top. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 98.1 FM ESPN, and the Roadrunner Sports Network. Heading to the top of the 9th, 4-2, UT Rio Grande Valley over CSUB as due up for the Vaqueros here in their half of the 9th inning. It'll be Victor Garcia Jr., Tyler Torres, and Austin Oaks, 6, 7, and 8 as Nathan Dewsnap gets a first pitch strike. And the count 0-1. So the Roadrunners going to have to try to do it in the 9th inning now as Vaqueros a couple timely hits today. That's been the advantage for them. And the next pitch popped up and out of play. Had the double in the 7th. Had the solo home run by Senior in the 6th, and the double in the 7th was in the gap. It looked like Penner had caught it, but then he collided with Pena and dropped the ball. As the next pitch misses outside of the count 1-2. And then the very next hitter, Conrad McMahon, who's been very hot in this series, gets an RBI single to right center. So a couple little things, the difference in this series. Here's the 1-2. That'll miss outside of the count, evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So, leadoff hitter of the Vaquero 9th. As here's the 2-2. Popped up near third base. Metzger going over. He will be into foul territory. He will reach up and make the catch, and there's one away. Kind of dealing with a couple things. The wind picked up a couple innings ago. So dealing with that wind in foul territory and the afternoon sun as well. As now Tyler Torres, the third baseman, come to the plate. 2 for 3 today. Torres popped out in the infield his last time up, but had a single in the 3rd and a single and a run scored in the 5th First pitch from Dewsnap. That breaking ball, check swing, he went for a called strike. And the count 0-1. Good movement on that pitch by Dewsnap. It fooled Torres quite a bit, as Dewsnap tends to do that with that sidearm motion and that breaking ball. The 0-1 throws it again. This time it misses outside. And the count 1-1 strike. So 1 out here in the UTRGV 9th inning. Dewsnap, the closer, out of the stretch. And the pitch. Ground ball towards second. Diving is Tengen on the grass. Turns, spins, fires for the out. What a play by Austin Tengen, diving to his left. Barrel rolls up on the outfield grass and fires a strike over to Max Carter for the out. So a nice play by Tengen on the defensive end there. And there is 2 away now for Austin Oaks, the catcher. Oaks hitting .217. He's 0 for 2 today with a sacrifice back in the 5th. First pitch from Dewsnap is high for a ball. Roadrunners in the 9th. They will have a good part of their order up. 2, 3, 4. Metzger, make that Penner, Metzger, and Carter. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one runs on the inside corner for a called strike, and the count evens up at 1-1. Dewsnap not really in the closer's role today. He's trying to win this ball game. As here's the 1-1 pitch from Dewsnap. Breaking ball, nicely done on the outer half for a called strike, and the count 1-2. Dewsnap trying to get the first 1-2-3 inning of the game for the Roadrunners. As here's the stretch and the 1-2 pitch on the way from Dewsnap. Upstairs for ball 2, and we'll even it up at 2 apiece. A lot of hits coming up in this lineup for CSU inning. 2-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3 is for the first time today. The Vaqueros go in order. Last chance for the Roadrunners coming up. They trail 4-2. We'll be back. Sports Network. And welcome back to Hartfield. We head to the bottom of the 9th inning. 4-2 UT Rio Grande Valley over CSUB as the Roadrunners trying to avoid their second straight Western Athletic Conference Series loss. They will send 2-3-4 to the plate here in the 9th. Penner, Metzger, and Carter. As Penner comes in 3 for 3 today, 3 singles, and was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. He's got a run scored as well. First time he has faced Josh Witherspoon. As Penner will dig in from the right side, last chance for the Roadrunners. And the first pitch of the 9th inning to Penner is in there for a called strike. Looked up a bit there, and the count 0-1. So Witherspoon out of the stretch now as the lefty sets, and here's the 0-1. Down and in, nearly gets him, and the count evens up at 1 apiece. Roadrunners right now just need to get base runners. They did that on the 7th last night. They got 8 runs. They just really were working counts, getting base runners, getting walks, timely hits. As here's the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball to first base, knocked down by Garcia Jr. He'll take it to the bag himself, and there's one away. So Penner retired for the first time today. David Metzger comes to the plate. Runners came in the 6th inning, and that was a Penner single. Metzger walked his last time up. He's 3 for 3 today. But since then, after Metzger's walk, it was ground out, pop out, ground out, or pop out, line out, and then an air, double play, ground out, and then that ground out as well. First pitch to Metzger. Inside and down for a ball on the count 1-0. Metzger singled and was stranded at second in the first, did the same in the third, and singled and scored in the 5th. 1 ball and no strikes to Metzger. The stretch and the pitch on the way from Witherspoon. And that's in there for a called strike, and the count evening up at 1-1. Roadrunners again on the road next week. They'll be at UC Irvine Tuesday, then at Chicago State Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week. Here's the 1-1 to Metzger. Ground ball towards the second base bag. Senior is there. He'll make the throw to first, and just in time to get Metzger, as that was close. So Metzger is retired, and there's 2 away. Senior took a little time, more time than he probably should have. Metzger moves up the line, and now the runner's down to the last out. Down by 2 here is Max Carter will come to the plate. Carter hitting from the right side with 2 away. First pitch to Carter. In there for a strike. Carter this afternoon 0 for 2 with a sac fly, RBI, and a walk. And the count 0-1 to the runner's first baseman. Here's the next pitch. Inside and down, ball 2. I'll make that ball 1. Count 1-1 here to Carter. Trying to keep the inning alive. Runners have Ryan Kono on deck. Came in as a defensive replacement 2 innings ago. And here's the 1-1 to Carter. Line into left field, base hit down the left field line. Carter on his way to second base, and he will stop halfway there and make it a 2-out single. So Carter picks up his first hit of the afternoon and keeps a little life in the Roadrunners, as now Ryan Kono, actually we're going to have another pinch hitter. Check that. And we're going to have Luis Martinez will pinch hit. So Martinez into the game for the Roadrunners. First appearance of the series for Martinez. And Martinez this season, just his 5th at-bat. This is his 4th game played. Does not have a hit yet this season. So lefty-righty here with 2 gone as Martinez comes to the plate. A junior infielder. First pitch to Martinez in the dirt, blocked by Oaks, and Carter stays put. Martinez, the 5'11", 210 junior out of Bakersfield, went to Bakersfield College the last couple seasons. And he will try to extend this Roadrunner ninth, trailing by 2. As here's the 1-0 delivery on the way to Martinez. Ground ball towards the left side, backhanded by Estrella. He'll flip to second in time for the out, and that'll do it for this one as the CSU Roadrunners lose 2 of 3 to UT RGV, and the Vaqueros get their first WAC series win of the season. Runners have dropped their 2nd consecutive Western Athletic Conference series as they fall here today 4-2. Hits were on the board, but the hits weren't on the board at the right time for the Roadrunners as they go 2 runs on 11 hits. Meanwhile, UT RGV 4 runs on 11 hits, and they get a couple timely hits and get the victory here today at Hart Field. We'll be back with final numbers of this one. Those of you watching on the Roadrunner Sports Network, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time, which will be on Tuesday, the 11th, as the Roadrunners host Cal State Northridge here at Hart Field. And meanwhile, those of you on radio, stick around. We'll come back with Roadrunner postgame, bringing the final numbers in this one from Hartfield. Final today, UTRGV 4, CSUB 2. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Baseball from Learfield on 1230 AM, 98.1 FM ESPN and the Roadrunner Sports Network.